Whoa, here we are with a new episode of Pints and Pages, and in today's episode, we're going to discuss Magic the Gathering and other TCG games, trading card games. We'll probably dip a little bit into Disney Lorcana. Um, Probably not so much into Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, but maybe a little bit. Mainly, we'll stick with Magic the Gathering and Disney Lorcana because that is what we know how to play. That is what we know the most about.
I only know Magic.
Pokemon is not something that we know how to play.
I know a little bit of how to play it, and I've not traded, but collected the cards. But that's about it. I know the market for it's fucking retarded.
Well, and it's still something offered at Savini Comics.
Yeah, they're all offered as Savini Comics.
Well, not Yu-Gi-Oh.
Will be, not Yu-Gi-Oh, but we'll be discussing those as we kind of talked today about different things. Magic and Lorcana is what we're kind of into right now.
Especially because Magic just released the Wilds of Eldraine set, which compared to Commander Masters is so much better.
Yeah.
Not even, the price point, but they only reprinted, I think, one or two like vital cards, but just the cards they came out with, and between the legendary creatures that you can use as commanders, and the modern staples, the pauper staples, the pioneer staples that they added in, reprinted, gave us a little bit more of, are pretty nice. Commander Masters was just a goddamn flop.
So I don't know anything. I know some about Magic. I've been trying to learn. The Disney Lorcana was easier for me to learn, probably because I know the characters, probably because it's new. So I was kind of able to listen with the
less
first
mechanics.
Yeah.
Sure.
Give it a couple years, buddies.
Yeah. Well, and it could be that way because it's geared towards kids too.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to make it a little bit easier.
They may hold true to that for quite a while, or come up with some of their own.
I do enjoy the I do enjoy knowing the characters and knowing the songs and knowing the items and different things like that. Magic, I mean, if you've been playing Magic for a long time, you understand the cards sometimes, I guess, but the cards get weird.
It's one of those. I was gonna say it's one of those things. Like, as someone who's been playing off and on for many, many years, I'd say it's been at least a decade. I want to say
It's
been a while.
There's over 25,000 unique cards.
Yeah, well, the game's been. I think it was 96 when it was.
I think there's more than that in there.
25,000 unique cards, and then it just went over 50,000 of reprint in total.
Okay,
but it's one of those things that, like, I don't know the story at all. I got my buddy Gavin, which you've met before. He went through. He's watched a bunch of YouTube videos and read the lore and stuff like that. I don't know any of the cards and any of the names from that, but if you played long enough, you see them over and over again, or things that do repeated effects, and plus just listening to the community, that's how you kind of gain your knowledge. Like, a lot of my knowledge was sitting down with my Magic group, and I play a card or they play a card, and they're like, oh, do you remember when they made this version of Nicol Bolas or this version of this character? And that's kind of, I can understand why Disney's Lorcana is so much easier to get into.
Right. Yeah. Lorcana was. Yeah.
Yes.
Lorcana was easier for me to grasp onto. One, because the mechanics are easier.
Yeah.
Well, the mechanics are easy. I won't say easier because I've never played Magic, so the mechanics are easy. But it was real easy to know. Okay, right now, when I flip my card over, I really hope it's a Donald Duck, or I really hope it's a Mickey Mouse, because those like they're characters that I know and I can identify with. Where like I wouldn't be reaching into my Magic deck going, I really hope this is a Fleeple Flopple win,
Swords to Plowshares, or
Wayfarer's Bobble.
Yeah, so they're
hey, Wayfarer's Bobble's pretty decent.
They're
good
just
for the pre-con that you're looking at.
They're just different. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it is just easy for me when I know the characters. So, but Wilds of Eldraine did hit stores today. Depending on when you're listening to this
I was gonna say
podcast,
this is September 9th,
yeah,
technically.
September 8th, 9th. And so I sold a few commander decks today. People in the store, one of them might have been Brad.
Yeah. Play with some fairies.
And
Yeah, I'm teaching. Well, I've taught Brad how to play a little bit. He's starting to get into
Yeah.
it.
and I'm hoping that I think Tracy wants to get into
Yeah.
it, and I hope
Or my goal is to get you playing it.
yeah, I want to get to that point. I haven't completely dived
I
in,
mean,
but
right
I'll get
here
to
in my bag is a very simple deck.
that.
Very
So-
simple right here in my hands that you could play.
So I mean that's I think the goal. Um, I've got to write out all the rules and the regs, but hopefully this podcast comes out before then. But not December, but October 7th, I want to run a Magic tournament in the shop. That'll be the first one.
It'll be kind of a trial run at how we're gonna try to figure out to do them. Just commanders are, I'd say, our most popular format. Basically, everyone that comes in has a deck, whether it's their favorite format or not.
Yeah.
Everyone has the ability to play it.
Yeah, I think from talking to the even the old timers that like to play standard, I think Commander is something that they know, they understand, they can play. They just may prefer old school standard or drafts. But
Fucking hate draft.
they do know how to play Commander. They do have the ability to make Commander decks. They just don't. That's just not their preferred way to play. So my question is, I guess, the mechanics of the game. So like, um, I'm not even sure if it's the mechanics of the game. So when you're building a deck, how do you know what card you want and what card you don't want?
So, I mean, that all depends on a multitude of things. The easiest way for me to explain that I'll use, because Commander's what I know and love the most. Um, like for example, I'll use my deck Feldergriff. It's a group hug deck. It's a pillow fort deck. So
What is group?
that's what I was gonna.
Okay, all right.
So basically, the whole point of my deck is in the group hug aspect. Instead of trying to attack people to win, I'm trying to help everybody out. I'm trying to give you more health. I'm trying to make you draw more cards from the deck. I'm trying to give you tokens, which are creatures to use. And then the pillow fort is I use a bunch of enchantments and other things to make it so nobody can attack me, even if they wanted to. So for me, I'm trying to go through, and I have my colors that my commander's in. So I'm trying to look through, and I go, okay, I know I'm not trying to be aggressive, and I know I'm trying to run a lot of things that are protecting me. So I look at my three colors, and I basically just, what I do is I go through decks online, and I'll find a bunch of cards that I like, and pull and buy those cards and use them. Some people have the vast knowledge of the cards that have came out, and they'll go, okay, I'm building a life gain deck where my whole point is just to gain life. I know I'll need swords to plowshares as a defensive instant. I know I'll need a Loro as my commander because he does great for gaining me life. Like some people have that knowledge. A lot of people I know of just use the internet. They'll Google a bunch of different decks, and whether they copy a deck specifically or they use a bunch of different ones to inspire their deck. Um, but no, it comes the deck building. I say is the hardest part of Magic because it's very, in my opinion, because I'm bad at it, hard to come up with an original deck idea that's good and gonna beat other people that have actually spent time developing or just copied like a pro tournament winning deck, stuff like that. So deck building, it's very to shorten it all. It's very niche to what you're trying to like, what your play style is and how you want to play it.
So like Brad bought a deck. He brought a commander deck.
Yeah.
It's got 100 cards in it.
Yep.
Now, can Brad take those 100 cards and buy 4 set booster packs and switch out cards?
Potentially.
Yes and
Depends on
no.
which cards I get in those booster packs.
So I'm going to explain this real simple because I actually just answered this question for Brad. So when it comes to Commander specifically, you have your Commander, which for him is this card. And as you see in the top corner there, the blue and the black symbol, there's 5 colors to Magic. You see how it's a blue symbol and a black symbol in the top corner?
Yeah.
There's the 5 colors of blue, black, white, green, red.
I feel like on the back of the Magic.
He can't see it because of the sleeve.
Oh, okay. All right. The jewels on the back of the card. Okay.
So because his commander's only blue and black, he could buy booster packs, and if he finds any blue or black cards that he likes, or any artifacts that are this just monotone white gray color, he can put them in because he has to follow the color scheme of his commander.
So you have to do blue or black.
Yeah, for him specifically.
So as these
And Dad's looking
in these commander decks, they're all going to be blue and black
for that commander deck. Yes,
because
when you buy
you bought them to get
the other commander deck because you got the box that had 4 and 4, the the fairy ones, and the green white ones. The other one, and they show you. Give me 1 second. I apologize. The audio gets bad, but I'm grabbing boxes. You can actually see on the top of them. They show you the colors that they are.
Okay, blue and purple.
Black. Yeah, it looks purple, but it's black.
And green and yellow?
White.
Green and white. Wow, I might be colorblind, folks. You might have learned something today.
I mean, it's white, but the shading they use, I can see what you mean. Same with the reason it's not black is because they use a lot of black on their artwork, so they can't just make what it is. The lands are called swamps, so they can't just make the black swamp on a black background, so they make it purple.
Okay. All right.
But to answer your question, he can, but it has to follow certain rules. Standard's a little more open. It doesn't have a commander for you to follow a color type, a color scheme with. But it has to meet certain criteria, like the standard. I think it's the last 2 years of rotation, the last 2 years of sets that have came out are the only sets you can use in standard. So it's a set that it's a format that rotates what cards it uses.
So what cards can he get for commander?
Anything that's not banned. So for each format, they have a list. Wizards of the Coast has a list that is banned cards. That I think it's every 3 months or so.
Is it cards or sets?
Cards. For commander, for anything, they ban cards. They don't ban whole sets. Because the set is the Wilds of Eldraine. Commander Masters.
How hard is that to keep up with? Because it's cards and not sets.
It could.
Well, that's the thing. That's why it breaks down into the different. Like, I only play Commanders, so for me, I just have to look at the Commander banned card list. Some people only play Standard; they just have to look at the Standard banned card list.
Is it extensive?
Commander, it's a little. I don't even want to say it's a long, but it's got a good amount of cards on it. I wouldn't even say it's close to 100.
And you only really have to look at that when you build a deck.
Yeah, you're only looking at that when you're building a deck.
All right.
And if especially if you use the style I use where I go through online, nobody online has a deck that has banned cards in it. I guess it's more than 100 because of the unsets, but that's a whole nother fucking ball game. If it has a silver border, not silver. Yeah, silver border, it's illegal.
So as I look through old cards,
he could use, if it's not on the banned card list, if he wanted to, he could use any of those cards in there.
But it's got to be blue and Black.
Specifically for his deck, yes. My deck is green, white, and blue. So I could use anything that's green, white, and blue.
Okay.
It's all based off the colors on your commander.
Yeah.
All right. Which is kind of like Lorcana, because you can only pick two colors in Lorcana. So you can pick one or two, but you can't go to three. Is that right?
You can pick two. I think at some point there's going to be different formats to play with Lorcana as well, because some people have already started playing. There is a Lorcana license draft suggestion.
Oh, really?
There is.
That doesn't surprise me. People love to draft, even though it's an awful format.
Oh, how do they do that in Lorcana?
It's a 30 or 40 deck. It's a real small
It's a 40 card deck, probably, because they have the same size boosters as Magic.
It's a real small deck size.
So
You can use any color, and you literally do a draft just the same as you do Magic, where each person opens a pack. You pick one card, pass the cards, and you get the next one. You pick a card until they're all gone, and then you open another pack and keep doing that until all of the cards have been given out.
And then you build a deck out of that.
And
which, if you remember the Magic,
card
that's what they were doing. And why a lot of people like draft, or I'm making just a broad assumption statement. I don't know how you want to put it. My understanding of, I've had a couple buddies and a couple people I've seen online talk about, drafts are really nice because you're buying packs, so they're supporting the local store here.
Right.
And then also when you open that pack, depending on how everybody rotates their pack, theoretically you could come out of there, and instead of how a pack is 12 or 11 commons, 3 uncommons, and a rare or mythic rare, you could walk out of there with getting a pack that has 7 rares and 6 uncommons because of the way it rotated around. So you could theoretically get more bang for your buck, and you get to play with the 3 packs you just bought.
Right.
So I'm bad at it, so that's why I hate it so much.
Yeah. There was 2 guys playing. One of them I work with, Clinton, and he was playing a draft, and he said he completely got his ass waxed. And he asked the guy after he was done, he was like, "Dude, how did you beat me so quickly?" And he said, "What do you have in your deck?" And he's like, I have all humans." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I have all soldier humans." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I didn't draft a class. I didn't stick with a
color.
I picked, like, I wanted all of one thing."
Yeah.
And Clinton's like, "I was trying to build the best deck I could and had shit scattered everywhere," where he stuck to one plan and then just completely just beat me to death with that plan.
Which is like, my deck is called Slivers, or his is Fairies, so everything is fairies, which is that little thing there. They're called tribal decks, just giving you a little information. It's a very common, in my opinion, probably one of the easiest ways to start playing and building your own decks, because all you gotta do is look for anything that says fairy or sliver, humans.
Okay.
So, not that talking down on anybody's skills, obviously. He sounds like he had a kick-ass deck.
Is there any is it easier to play with is it easier to start with a commander deck?
No, probably not. And the reason I say that is because, like, me specifically, my deck, because of how dumb and obscure it is and how weird it is, I have cards from all years of Magic.
No, I mean like a pre-built commander deck straight out of like the box. Bonus Pints is a craft beer and wine spin on the classic arcade, located at 422 East Broadway in beautiful downtown Logansport. Bonus Pints is the anchor of the Bonus Building on the corner of Broadway and 5th Street. They have all your favorite classic arcade games and both classic and current pinball machines. Every Wednesday is trivia, and every Thursday and Friday there is live music. Come and bring your friends. The food, the music, the games, and the people. There is something for everyone at Bonus Pints.
If you had a bunch of people sitting down that just had those, yeah, that'd probably be your easiest way to teach somebody to play Magic. That's, I think, how we taught Seth how to play
I
Magic.
think that's how you. Well, not Brad. But
Well, kind of. Brad, you had a pre-con. Nate had a pre-con.
I use Nekuzar.
No, yeah, you used
you used
Nekusar.
one of Seth's decks, right?
He used one of Seth's easy decks. Nate had a pre-con. My deck it has a bunch of old cards, but it's easy to understand. The reason I was making the specification is because of the fact Commander can use cards from all years. You get into really weird situations where you get mechanics that they don't use anymore, like
Horseback.
horsemanship.
Yes, horsemanship. Post Malone dropped that one down.
You're talking about, yeah.
So
Yep. Command Zone. So that's an old. They remade the set recently before your store opened. It's the set's called Kamigawa. It's the realm or the plane because instead of worlds, universes, galaxies, stuff like that, the easiest way to look at it is they walk on planes, spelled Plane.
Okay.
Um,
Planeswalker.
Yeah, planeswalkers. That's basically the worlds. They're called planes. This plane is Kamigawa, or it's set in feudal Japan, with the samurais and the horseback riding and the spirit dragons and stuff like that. Well, in that set, when they first made the Kamigawa set, they made horsemanship, which it's not even that complicated. I just don't know because it's an old thing.
basically flying.
It's flying, but only for horsemanship. So you can only, if I attack,
is it flying horses?
You can
no.
Evasive, like Lorcana's evasive,
but only for horses.
So it's super niche because it's only been released in that set.
This set came out like early 2000s, late 90s.
So invasive.
It's super hard to get horsemanship cards
because there's very few of them. Because they printed the mechanic for basically 2 sets back in early 2000, like 2003, something like that, and then never used the mechanic again. But because of the way the mechanic works, to interact with a card with horsemanship, to put it simply for you, to interact with a card with horsemanship with another card, it also has to have horsemanship. But because it's such a niche mechanic they only used back then for 2 sets, you can run into situations like that.
You'll never find an opponent to match your horsemanship because
no one uses it because it's not a thing people think about.
So it's like, okay. All right.
That's why I say Commander's not a good place for people to learn, is because you can get into situations like what we're trying to describe to you with horsemanship.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
It's flying, but with a horse.
Yeah. It's not a flying horse, but it's the same mechanic as flying, but with horses. Because picture flying.
But still, like
vehicles for some reprint cards.
Yes.
But as far as if I was to sit down with 4 guys
and you all had pre-cons,
and I just grabbed a deck, then
you guys be able to have fun.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
All right. And I could get the gist of the whole situation.
Oh yeah.
Then I'd have to blow it up and actually buy
which deck cards right now.
Slivers. This is one of the Commander Master ones. Like if I sat after this podcast, if you guys sat right there and I handed you this deck, we would be able to teach you, and you'd be able to play with Brad, and you'd be able to understand very easily and quickly how to play. Because these decks are made to. Without video, I'm going to sit here and commentate their game so that way over Spotify everybody can listen.
Don't worry, plays the Fairy Warlock.
And so I'm gonna have to take the microphone and be like, "Hold on, guys, pause, unscrew it, move my laptop, run into the hallway. Holy shit, Brad just drew this card and Dad doesn't know."
It would be
that would get hectic.
I think we need to do that. Super sports commentator magic.
Oh, I mean,
Oh yeah, no,
Me and
we
you just
definitely.
sit
yeah, we can.
top and fucking
Yeah, no.
Like how, hey,
Yeah,
like how Tony talked about in his
Yeah.
interview, renting equipment. I imagine we could rent a fucking video camera or ask Tony to borrow a video camera, pay him whatever he
get
asks.
the glass box.
You know what I mean?
Suits.
What I'm saying is just get a stand right here, put it right here.
I'm
Either you two play or me and you play, or we get a couple people in here, and then whoever the oddball out is just sitting there going, okay, and guys, here's what's going on. So far, it looks like Brad's in the lead. He's got the most life. He's playing the most amount of whoever's on, whatever's going on.
I would love to be the commentator. That was all.
As the jackass who doesn't know what's going
I
on.
would wear suits.
Beth,
Suits.
Oh my god.
Beth, I've always dreamed of being
All
like that.
all
Was
of the
my
components.
that was my dream
I'll
job.
go to
Was being a sportscaster. Like I would love to be in.
I'm
Like,
here with Nicholas Savine.
I would love to
all of the players go to what is the creative promotions, get custom jerseys made.
I
It
would
says their deck name on it.
I would record that tape and send it to Al Snow and be like, I think I can commentate wrestling. I think I can commentate. Watch me do this. Listen, watch me do this.
I have no
Be
knowledge
aware
what's
of
going
the
on.
situation that I'm in, and watch me rock the shit out of this.
Hey, ain't nobody wore a cowboy hat in wrestling commentating in a while.
Yeah, the cowboy hat. JBL was the last one to wear one, but I could totally like wear a suit. I could come in as the king, Jerry Lawler. I could wear a crown
There you go.
and the little suit, the little singlet. I could come in. I could be like, and I would be like, you guys would get tired of me because one of you would throw a card down, and I'd be like, oh my god, look at that! You're never gonna believe it. It is.
Fantastic.
All we'd have
That was the closest thing to. That was the closest thing to a
all we'd have to do is tell Dad where people put their commanders. Then anytime someone plays the commander, oh shit!
Yeah. I'd be like, exile, back to the past. Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah, I would be like, oh shit!
The only thing is one of those people that would be playing would probably I'd have to try to convince Seth, and then I'd have to try to get him to actually speak when he plays because most of the time he just taps lands, plays card, and waits for everyone to realize what's happened, and then continues on. Because he's quiet, he doesn't speak. So, or the most you get is like taps lands while everyone's in the middle talking. I'm gonna play my commander right now, and it's a very monotone tone. And then he passes turn, and 5 minutes goes by.
No, this is the best video ever. The best video ever. The three of you guys. So you three guys, and you find a fourth, Nate or Tracy or whoever. You find a fourth.
Yeah.
And I am have you ever seen have you ever seen the angry Obama interpreter?
Oh my god!
I'm Seth's angry magic interpreter. Oh shit, motherfucker, you just got dropped.
Yes, that would be fucking awesome.
I just stand behind him in a suit. Every time he does something, I'm like, oh, watch out.
Seth, every time Seth draws a card, oh shit, you ain't gonna guess.
Land ahoy, motherfucker. He's so. That would be the best.
I can see it now.
That would
All right, I'm gonna have to get down a lavalier mic because we can all use the boom. Dad's gonna need a non-separate channel for how funny this is. I'm gonna need to be
monitor and everything.
You need to be able to clip his audio specifically because this is gonna be great.
That would be fantastic. That would be worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Me being Seth's angry magic player.
Yeah,
angry magic interpreter.
I mean, you witnessed him.
We can actually name the podcast Angry Magic Interpreter.
You witnessed it when we sat here and played.
Yeah.
Seth, don't fucking speak.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't. All I know is I walked over here and you guys were like, he had done something to you guys to where nobody like.
We couldn't even. He played Void Winnower, which is an 11 draw. Fucking Eldrazi, that's a 9/11 that makes it so all opponents can't play anything that has an even converted mana
Oh
cost.
yes, that's
Every
right.
so my deck was even.
So this up here is your total converted mana cost. It's 2 and the
Okay.
2, which is 4, makes it even. Can't play it.
After having
And if you already have creatures out that have converted mana cost 4 or even, they can't block or attack. So then they just sit there and they're useless.
Yeah.
They're just stuck.
Yeah, and after having literally 50 cards in my hand,
Because I made everybody draw
I
everything.
finally got something. I could take his damn thing out of him.
And then he gets it right back into his hand and goes, I can play it again.
And then by the time I did anything, it was like, nope, I'm just going to have to draw myself to death and do as much crap as I can on my last swing out. And I can just start, yeah.
Yeah,
I started spawning dragons.
I think you had switched off an Ekisar at that point.
I just started spawning dragons and
I ended up conceding that game because it just was so. Seth was threatening to take my turn. And so I drew myself out and I was like, well, by the time Seth takes my turn, I'm just going to die from not having cards in my deck. So I'm just going to concede now.
he literally caused us
So that way Seth doesn't waste it.
suicide in Magic.
So like Lord of the Rings just came out, and then there was Commander Masters and Wilds of Eldraine. So they've all
that was
come out.
another big flop. Sorry.
So they've all
Sorry.
come out in the last couple of months, and then Doctor Who comes out next month. And then,
Beginning of October. It's the second week, I believe.
yeah. So when you're playing Commander, you can mix all those decks. Okay. All right. Okay.
So like so I know
As long as they're
I'll probably nab a doctor.
so like specifically off the top of my head,
Surprise her. Like, here, you try playing.
this is a blue black deck.
yeah.
The
that would
Weeping
be cool.
Angel creature is going to be blue black. I would immediately, even if it doesn't fit in, slap it into this deck.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
You have to have a minimum of 100.
No,
it's 99 cards and your commander.
Okay.
Because
no matter what, can you have more or
yeah,
less?
you can have more.
You can have more, but you can't have less.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have more.
Yeah, you can have more. Most people don't go over.
That's a pain.
Because that's a lot of cards to go.
And it's
like Lorcana is only 60.
So that's the other thing. In Lorcana, you can have multiple of the same card. In Commander specifically, only Commander, you cannot.
Okay, yeah. In Lorcana, you can have up to 4 of the same card.
That's how it is in every other format of Magic also.
Yeah.
The only exception for Commander are so you guys in Lorcana, it's your inkwell. You ink your cards.
Yeah.
Instead of inking your cards, you have specific cards called lands. And that's how you get your mana. And you can play one land a turn. But and that's the different colors, the islands and the swamps.
So you play a land like you would in ink.
Yes.
So if you have and we're gonna get to I'm gonna assume the listener knows, but they probably don't. So if I have a card in my hand that's a creature, let's say a flip-a-flopper, and it's got a 2 on it, I can play 2 lands to play that card, because that's how Lorcana happens.
So you can play 1 land a turn. So you'd have to be on your second turn to play that. But you would tap your 2 lands, which means you used them for the turn. And then you could, because you have to tap your lands to produce mana.
So I put a land down, and then I put a second land down, and then I tap them.
Yep.
And then I can play my card.
Yep.
But on the second turn, I can play my second land. I can tap them and play my card.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Unless there's a couple lands that
now the way Lorcana is
So I would have, I'd have to have these available. In order to play that, I'd have to tap one blue one and then one of any other color. It could be two blue ones, but it could be also a black.
Now, why do you need two?
One for the blue and then one for the random. Like the whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, see,
That's your choice.
That's just
Emperor's your choice.
so, and this is where they made it a little technical. That is just basically general mana, as in one of anything.
Yeah.
You can't say colorless anymore because
colorless is
the Eldrazi deck is a colorless deck with wastes. By the way, I was making the thing earlier. You can only have one of each card, besides for your lands. The basic lands, they're called basic. You can have as many basic lands as you want, as many swamps as you want.
okay.
That's the only exception. Yeah.
One's got an
That's the only exception to what they call the singleton rule or the one of rule.
Yeah.
So now in Lorcana,
We're holding decks, by the way, if you hear us shuffling shit around.
so
You guys holding my deck right now.
I love holding your deck, Brad.
it's fantastic. I don't like watching it so much. So in Lorcana, so Aladdin's got 3.
3.
So if I'm holding like 2, 4, 6, so I got 6 cards. So here I am with this. So here I am with this, and I'm like, I've got all these.
Yeah.
So if I decide to play Aladdin, I can play 3 inks, right?
No, you have to play one ink a
That's right, one ink a turn.
just like Magic.
Okay.
One land a turn, and then you build them up, and then every turn you have the option to spin your untapped ones, and it kind of works on the
So I do an ink,
yeah,
and then I do another ink, and then I do another ink, and that
so
gives
on
me
your
my
third
Aladdin.
turn,
yeah.
So I turn these, and I do my Aladdin, but he's got to dry.
So that's how Magic is too.
Yeah.
It's called summoning sickness.
Okay, so he's got to dry. So now the next turn, I flip these around, and he comes out to play.
So he's already
fourth turn at that point.
Yeah, so
In
then I can
Magic-
ink somebody else and do a 4th, and then he's got to wait, and then I can do whatever I want with Aladdin. I can either play, or I can fight, or whatever.
So in Magic, it'd be the same kind of thing. You'd have your lands. So by my 4th turn, I'd have my 4 lands out, and then I could tap them on my 4th turn to play my creature. My creature is in play. That's the only, when you play it, it's out on the battlefield. But it has summoning sickness, or for you guys, it has to dry, which means it can't attack this turn unless it has. I can't remember what your guys' game calls it, but Magic calls it haste.
We call it rush in Lorcana.
In Magic, it's called haste. So it's the same concept. If it has it, you can use it that same turn.
Quick draw Legends of Runeterra.
Yes. I've also played Legends of Runeterra. But the difference is, from the sounds of it, so say I pass my turn to you, and you have a creature and you attack me with it, even though it just came out, I can still block with it. But I can't do anything else with it.
Located at 430 East Broadway in beautiful downtown Logansport, on the bonus level, the second floor of Bonus Pints, is the Lantern. The Lantern is a glowing light in a small town. They're a shop filled with art, clothing, books, and all your current Halloween needs. They are currently carrying cat skull candles, black cat drinking glasses, Halloween-themed dresses and shirts, and some 3D horror decor that will scratch your Halloween itch. Check out their Facebook page for when they are open and what new items they are stocking daily.
Doesn't work like that for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know in Lorcana it doesn't, but in
So
Magic.
you can block with it.
So yeah, because in Magic,
How do you block?
So in Magic, when you're doing your turns,
There's no questing in Magic. But Magic has blocking. There's no blocking in Lorcana.
Because in Magic, instead of getting your quest counters or lore counters, you just have health. You as a person have HP. You have health. You start at 40 in Commander. So instead of questing or doing that, I would just say I'm attacking you. And if you have creatures, you could block my creatures that are attacking you.
It's not so bad once you learn the rhythm of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it
right.
actually follows suit to a large majority of all the other card things.
So is 2 your attack and 4 your field?
Exactly.
Okay.
Power and toughness is what they call it in Magic.
Power and toughness.
It's strength and willpower. And Lorcana.
I call it attack and shield.
Yeah.
Probably in both.
Same concept.
Okay.
But yeah,
Damage and
it's
Yeah, damage and health. Yeah.
so it's like Tracy
Damage
kept
and
saying
shield,
that's
yeah.
the one you want as your commander.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it out. But it's like
Yeah.
Tracy kept saying they mixed Magic and a little bit of Pokemon because Pokemon, instead of attacking the player directly, you attack their Pokemon. And then if you defeat their Pokemon, you have 6 cards from your deck that you pulled out to the side that are your prize pool. And that's kind of your questing. When you defeat a Pokemon, you get to pull one of your prize cards. Once
I
you
couldn't
pull,
relate my deck being a prize pool. I always refer to my deck as a prize pool.
Mine's an aggro deck where I'm out to rush quick. I'm out to start getting lore points right off the bat.
Okay.
but and then once you get all your
My-
prize
yeah.
cards, you win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't know about Pokemon, but in Lorcana with red and blue, I'm like aggressive and support at the same time.
it's kind of, so that's like Magic. Red and blue is aggressive and control. So
Yeah, it's the same in Lorcana.
yeah,
It's aggressive and control.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the colors. I'm gonna guess it's the same in Lorcana. Then all the colors kind of have their own theme to them.
Yeah.
Black does a lot of they'll kill things, they'll recur their own things, like bring them back from the graveyard.
Kind of purple.
Red is straight attack.
Aggro.
Purple is what brings stuff back.
Yeah, so they did the same thing as Magic.
Yeah.
Blue is a control. You draw a lot of stuff. You counter a lot of people's stuff. White, you gain life, and you kind of have some. You make some blockers and stuff.
That's steel.
Well, steel.
I was gonna
Might
say
be green.
Steel does have some blockers. Yellow also has some blockers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yellow heals more than steel
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
and then green is notorious in Magic as big stompy guys. So you'll get a lot of land out early. Green is typically the color that'll allow you to play multiple lands a turn, instead of just the one a turn. And then you can get green is notorious for having big creatures with a lot of power and a lot of toughness.
I think green for Lorcana is more along the lines of, like, I know there's a lot of control.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Genie's bouncing cards
Yeah,
back.
that doesn't sound like
I
green.
figured
in
Genie would have
Lorcana.
been a blue card.
There's also some evasives. Trying to think.
See, green has a mixture of
I wanna
stuff
bring
because green will gain life. Green will have big
Yeah.
stompy. Green will have artifact hate in it typically.
Yeah. I want for Lorcana, I want to run green and purple, I think. I'm gonna switch from yellow. Go green and purple.
Really? You're gonna? Okay. I'm gonna stick with
Yeah.
red and blue. I like
So red and blue is my favorite in Magic. I love it. So in Magic, you'll hear a lot of people use different terms for the color combinations. It's because in the storyline, and the reason why a lot of people know it is because the Guilds of Ravnica set and the Ravnica set that came
Yeah.
out while I was in high school.
That's some D&D throwback. I know.
Yeah. So they had a lot of. So each 2-color combination had a guild associated with it in
Right.
Ravnica. So a lot of people use those terms when talking about decks. So even if you're not using any of the cards from Ravnica, if you're using a blue-red deck, people call it an is it deck.
Oh, yeah.
And even that extends to the 3 colors also. The 4 colors I don't think have like any tribe names. But like the 3 colors, this is Bant or green, white, and blue.
I got you.
But my deck's just retarded.
I really want to build that banana deck.
And that's my only win condition in the deck.
I just
What is this?
It is so the card for everybody listening is called Approach of the Second Sun, and what it does is I can basically read it for you. When you play the card, you gain 7 life, and if it's the first time you've played the card, you'll put it 7 from the top on the top of your deck, and then if it's the second time you've played the card, you win the game.
If Approach of the Second Sun was cast from your hand, then you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game.
Otherwise,
put Approach of the Second Sun into its owner's library,
7 from the top,
and
and gain
you
7
gain
life.
7 lives.
That's the only way I can win in this deck. Is I have to play that twice.
Okay. Right, because you play a bunny hugger deck, right?
A group hug deck, yes.
Same thing. Bunny hugger, tree fucker.
Yeah.
So that's have you looked at the Lorcana?
I've looked at Tracy's and Brad's decks.
Okay, there's mine.
Yeah, I think I want to switch to green once we start getting our hands on more.
Okay. All right.
Green.
So
nobody's playing green in our
nobody's playing green in our group.
And like I'm about
Alex plays blue and steel.
I'm about to call Evan Jones, see what he's waiting on.
He'll be here next week.
Better.
Yeah.
We're playing next
Evan
week.
Jones. Is that Evan that was playing Magic?
Yeah.
Captain Zedbeer.
Yeah. He's got Pearl Jam this weekend. So he's
now is he a part of the group that lives down? I don't want to give locations, but down.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And he'll be in next week to pick up his Lorcana stuff and probably some of this Magic Guaza Eldraine stuff.
I'm gonna smash down. I'm ready.
I'm gonna have to message. I'm gonna have to message him.
Calling you out, Evan. If you're listening,
we know he's listening. We know he's listening.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to message him and try to make it. I'm gonna make an impromptu Magic Day if I can. Then, because if he's gonna come up, I'll try to get him to convince other people to come up. I'll convince Seth to come out.
I'll bring both decks.
Well, I was gonna say I'll make it.
Well, you're out for the 23rd, right?
Oh yeah.
I said next weekend because that's
right. Because that next weekend you'd be able to play. If we could do Lorcana during the day and Magic at night.
Oh. I'll just be around. I'll be around. Always be around.
I just have to tell my fiance and deal with the repercussions later. And by repercussions, it's more if we're going, I wish we spent more time together. I go, yes, we'll do that next weekend. And then we do that next weekend. But
yeah, you'll just have to find out from Evan whether or not you'll have to fire up the Discord and see if he's actually coming. If he's actually coming, then I don't mind doing an impromptu. I can get a hold of Clinton. I can get a hold of Charles. I can get a hold of all those guys. And
I don't know if he's awake at 2:30 in the morning, but I'm just going to message in the Discord.
Yeah, well, I mean, you might as well just hit the Discord and go, hey,
yeah, And this will probably be out by the time this is over. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know when we're releasing this. So
I was going to say because
we'll do the Ahsoka one first.
Yeah, because I mean, depending on when this releases, either the week after, or maybe sometime in the future.
We might do it next week. We might do it. Yeah, we might do it in the future. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll get a video camera and record all of the Magic play next week.
Yeah, hit Tony up about it. Honestly,
that's not a bad idea either. Just ask him what kind of camera setup he thinks he could impromptu do for us next week.
I was gonna say, yeah,
because even Tracy's got a deck. I'm sure she'd love to come up here and play.
Yeah, we can teach her how to play.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd love to.
That would be no
sit
issue.
down and at a table and play.
I was gonna say we can get me, Brad, Seth, and Nate, and Tracy all sitting at because Nate's still pretty new, and
Well, you guys could even split up to where, like, I know Seth doesn't like to talk, but I mean, but Evan and his cousin, if they both end up
yeah,
being able to come up here,
and that could get Tyler here also.
then they might. I mean, they could run a table and teach people.
Yeah.
I'm really gonna. I think I'm gonna. I know they're city cards, but I think I'm gonna open one of those Commander Master decks.
They're not shitty cards. It's just the fact that they overpriced what they put in there.
Yeah.
And like one of the big selling points of like the collectors boosters instead of the regular packs was you could get the it wasn't the biggest seller, but one of the big sellers was the portrait variants. So you could get a portrait art of certain characters, certain cards. And a lot of people are like, the artwork sucks, and I can tell this is an obvious cash grab, and immediately started shitting on the product for it, along with a lot of other things. Like they only printed so many of I think it's the etched full art jeweled lotus. And so on release it was like $800.
It's still like $800.
Oh, it dropped down from 800.
550.
Yeah. I was like, I know it's still up there, but I know it's not 800. And it's because so the way that the booster boxes and everything is priced on the secondary market is on a rough. Um, they do it based on like if you're gonna buy a booster box, sealed booster box. It's based off the rough value you could get back in it, based on the cards that are in it in the what the secondary market thinks the average is, like the average price you'll get out of a box. So like I think right now, the God damn it, I was looking at this forever. The
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good podcast talk right here where it just goes silent.
I
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, they have
It's fantastic,
They have
man.
so many unsets.
Fantastic. It's great that this is radio.
It's the Galaxy foil unsets. But I was looking at those forever, and the price of it is like the market price is $145 because of the fact that
For what?
God damn it, the unset that I'm trying to think the name of fully. But that's because on average you'll get one full art Galaxy foil Shockland, and the average of it is $140. Is the average price of one of those. So the average price of the box, because you get about one per box, is $140. Is the easy way to put that.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So there's a $140 card in some set that we don't know.
So if you wouldn't have talked shit and you would have actually fully interpreted what I
No,
said,
I got you.
it's
So-
based off of the average price you can get out of the box. And with that set specifically, the only thing that's worth money
Somebody
are
needs to
those.
appreciate my shit talk. Oh.
You can kiss my ass. That's what I can appreciate. Is you kissing
So
my
okay,
ass.
that's fair. That's fair. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So on Magic, okay, so I think so land is like mana, which is like ink. And then instead of ink drying, it's like summon sickness.
Summoning sickness. Yeah.
Okay, so then you can play, but there is a couple of differences, and that's fair. You guys have what is it instead of lore counters? What is it?
There is no
So-
lore counters.
so-
Yeah, you just have health.
So okay, so you don't quest, you literally just fight people.
Yeah, you just attack.
Okay.
So
Alright.
you attack me, and my creatures defend me.
Okay. So you have now
Unfinity, by the way. Jesus Christ.
okay.
That was the set.
Unfinity. I'm glad that we resolved that.
I was gonna die if I didn't know.
Unfun yeah, it's fun killer entity.
Fucking kiss my dick.
So Located at 430 East Broadway in beautiful downtown Logansport on the bonus level, the second floor of Bonus Pines, is Savini Comics. Savini Comics has all your toys, gaming, and comic needs. We have Dungeons and Dragons. We have Magic the Gathering. We have Pokemon. We have Disney Lorcana. We have Marvel and DC comic books. We have Marvel and DC figures. We have Star Wars. We have wrestling. Come join us at Savini Comics for all your gaming, toys, and comic book needs. So here's my question then.
Spit it out, Junior. This is great radio.
Well, so you've got the health and the shield on the cards, but those don't matter?
They matter.
They do.
So
But your 40 is separate from that.
So yes.
Yeah.
So specifically, look,
You don't want to
Feldergriff is a 4/4. So
use those to defend, and then you match it with another creature, and then
if you were
how the combat's going to go. If you fight a one creature against a 2/2, one's going to survive and the other one's not.
so based
Right,
on
but how
power
does that
and
take your
toughness-
40 health points away?
So and if it doesn't, unless
It
the
would
creature
block.
has trample, which is it's a mechanic. So okay,
Still,
I'm gonna let me break this down simply. If I attack you,
Yeah.
you can then defend with the creature.
Okay.
No matter what happens to those creatures, the damage fizzles out. But if my creature, since I'm attacking you, has a mechanic called trample,
Yeah.
if my creature has more power than your creature has toughness, whatever the excess power is,
Yeah.
say it's 4
Yeah.
and 3, whatever the excess power is, I'll deal damage to you. But
your creature has to have
Yeah.
trample to do that.
also,
but
if you choose not to block,
then you'll take damage.
Okay, so it's like you're like, hey,
If I attack,
I want to attack your zebra with my rhinoceros.
no.
I only attack you.
yeah,
You have to choose to put your zebra in front of my
I'm
rhinoceros.
attacking you. Are you going to block with your creatures?
Or you can just choose to take the hit.
Okay, so you're gonna throw a rhino at me, and I'm like, yeah, I want to defend with my zebra,
Yes.
and they cancel each other out
No matter what, you won't take damage.
unless your rhino has trample.
Yes.
And if your rhino has trample and you have 3 and I have 2, then I take 1. So I go from 40 to 39.
Yes. Exactly.
Holy ballsack. That is.
So it's a lot when you're talking about it, but when you actually are playing
Yeah, I could see the flow probably goes
the
a
flow
lot better.
the flow helps it a lot is when you're actually because
Now I know why the games take like 9 hours to play.
yes.
Yeah, you got to read a book every time it's your turn.
So
Like, what does this guy do right now? Does this guy start?
so that's the thing. That's what he's talking. My deck,
Yeah.
like by the time we were done with the last game, every time you drew your second card per turn, which at the start of your turn I made you draw 5. So every time you drew your second card, I would draw a card. And then every time you played your second spell, anytime you played 2 cards in a turn, I got to create a creature out of that. And that happened for everybody's turn. Plus, on everybody's turn, I was drawing another card and I was making you draw extra cards. That's where it gets complicated.
Yeah, because you get this many cards in your hand, and you're like,
That's why.
It's like you have an accordion full of cards.
So I learned the hard way. My brain thought, okay, it's a group hug deck. It's not made to be aggressive or have a lot of awful things in it. It'll be easy to help other people learn. I negated the fact that you guys were going to draw your entire deck and get overwhelmed with how many cards you had in your hand.
luckily, the first time we played, having Nekuzar meant that your deck essentially assured me victory.
Yeah.
The second time around, all it did was make me confused.
That's fair.
Well, he had a bunch of cards that he had never seen before, and I made him draw all of them at once. So he was trying to read them all at once.
Here's the thing.
This was my hand. I'm sitting here like, I'm gonna play. I got so much mana, it don't matter.
But here's the thing: when you're first learning how to play something, those are the most dangerous people because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So there's no strategy to what they're trying to play.
Yeah.
They're just like throwing shit out there.
Oh, Nate did that to us a couple times.
And it's just like,
yeah, born lights.
yeah. So, I mean, nothing's worse than playing a game against somebody that has nothing to lose. Like,
That's also where
that's like, really, it's not. Yeah,
that's why Commander, though.
But I mean, we played Lorcana.
Mm-hmm.
We played Lorcana Saturday for what? 7 hours? I won the first game I played. Alex came back. She won the first game she played.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, that was how it kind of went.
We all won one, and
We all won one.
Tracy won two.
I think Tracy won two.
Yeah.
I think Tracy won the first one and the last one.
Yeah.
And Tracy won the last one because I couldn't do math.
Yeah, I Trace. It was like you guys.
So that's the thing when it comes to Magic is you, especially if you get to the later game, and when I mean later, like you're 15 turns in and people have a bunch of mana and a bunch of resources to do stuff. You can get to a point where I'm swinging at you with 20 creatures, and now you have to do the math. Well, what can I block and what can I do to make it so I can live through this turn? And so you have to sit there and go, okay, he has a total of 72 power. How can I make this at least 39?
Yeah, the hard part, the thing with Lorcana, and I thought it was better, smoother, and funner with 4. 3 was fun too.
Yeah, we played
Head to head would not.
for people.
Head to head to me is not fun. I thought 3 and 4 were
You're
games
like me.
than-
I like to play in a party environment, basically.
Wait
But-
until we get Commander for Lorcana.
Yeah.
Like, it'll happen.
That's when I will jump into the game. Is
Yeah,
when you guys
and-
have a commander type.
And really, honestly,
shit
that's what we're playing now. We're playing Commander.
Cards.
Huh?
I guarantee you it'll be all the cards that say shift on them. Though.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a fucking shifty fucking.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, we're playing Commander now when we played the 4 of them.
Well, the only difference really with commander is having the actual, because
Unique card.
yeah, well, the unique cards really, I mean, yeah, that's a part of it, but it's really not that big of a deal. The big thing with commander is you have your deck, but then your commander sits outside of your deck at all times. So as long as you have the mana to play it, you can just play your commander at you don't have to draw it into your hand. That's the only, I would say, because typically all the decks revolve around what your commander does.
Okay.
Whether your commander has to be on the battlefield or not, it revolves around it.
Okay. Now
That's that's why commander's a specific thing.
yeah. So we played and we did the different games.
Sorry, I sat here and shuffled it like 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, they're really not that different. They're really not that different.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funner playing with 4. Here's the thing. Here's how you win Lorcana. Tracy did it once. I think I did it once. I'm not even so sure that Alex didn't do it. Like if you're close enough to 20, all you have to do is get to 20 lore.
Okay.
You get lore when you quest. So if you're like at 15, you just have to make sure that the cards on your board, like if nobody attacks you, if the cards on your board and the one that the ink dried and you get to play, if those all add up to 5 to make 20, you just like it gets to your turn and you turn them all sideways and you're done.
Yeah.
Game's over. So like I know that's how I won. That's how Tracy won because I literally didn't have enough people to attack her to get her to a point to where she couldn't get to 20. So,
See, and you run into similar things in Magic, whether it's by attacking. One of my favorite ways to play are combo decks. So, and this is where also Magic can get a little complicated, but I described them to him as a Rube Goldberg machine. So I will put out 10 cards on the battlefield over the course of however many turns. And basically they're all set up. So when I turn this one and activate it, it's going to activate this card that activates that, and it'll turn itself into an infinite loop that'll just allow me to kill everybody.
Okay. I know that I pissed everybody off with my support.
Oh yeah, the Phil.
Yeah, the fill process. So like
Fill process.
the fill process.
It's a real bitch.
Yeah. So here's Phil.
Yeah, I saw Phil.
So Phil, whenever this character quests, you may add his attack to a chosen player on their turn. So say you've got Triton with a 5, right?
You make him an 8.
So I make him an 8. Well, here's the problem.
Get
At one
Phils out there.
one point, I had 2 Phils out on the board. And like at one point I went, well, I quest my 2 Phils. And who was it? Mally's got 12 to attack, and Brad's like, who do you want to kill on the board? There ain't nobody stopping you from killing anybody on the board.
See, that's also, you gotta get it. He's got a sword in there.
So yeah. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think I'll enjoy Magic once I start playing.
Yeah, I'm just because of the fact I didn't buy the starter decks and I didn't
For Lorcana?
Yeah. I want to wait for the. Oh, by the way, you have my favorite Pokemon as your sleeves.
Okay.
Giratina.
Oh, Giratina. Oh yeah.
I want to wait for the secondary market to go down on the cards, and then I want to start buying.
So here's the interesting thing. Speaking of secondary market for Lorcana, so I read today on the internet, because we know that that's the only media source out there. Chapter 2 is going to drop in mom and pop shops on November 17th.
Yeah.
Big box stores on December 1st.
They're giving you guys first?
Yeah, they did with the first chapter.
Really?
Yeah. They did the whole launch in LGS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it took 2
years. I would have bought it right away knowing that right there.
They're gonna do every launch is gonna be at mom and pop shops before.
Yes. Yes.
So chapter 1
that's something Wizards needs to take after.
Yeah, so chapter 1 came out, and you could only buy it in small stores, and then it was big box stores 2 weeks later. They're doing the same thing with chapter 2. But they just announced, I thought today, it might have been yesterday, reprints of chapter 1.
Oh yeah, first quarter
are coming out in February of next year. So they're releasing chapter 2, and then they're doing reprints of chapter 1.
This is going to be the only thing I'm going to, just because it's something that irritated me and still does with Pokemon. They did kind of the similar thing in the beginning of Pokemon, where they'd make a set and then they'd make base set 2, which is the same exact thing as 1, but they all had symbols on them to tell you that it was a reprint. I hate that shit. Not because, I think everyone that has the first set should be able to have the collector version. It's just stupid. Why do it? If you're making the exact same card, there's no reason to differentiate them if it's just a reprint.
I think that they're doing the reprints.
I know,
only because I don't think
so little supply was out there.
I don't think they realized that chapter 1 was going to do so well.
Right. I'm just saying I hope they don't do what Pokemon and other card games
but
have
I think they're going to end up doing, here's what I think they'll do. They're a Magic game that'll treat their cards like Pokemon. So you'll see a lot of first print, second print, and base set too.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to. If they do it by serial number, I won't give a fuck. I just don't like because I don't care if I have the 15th reprint of a card. I just don't want a big fat fucking symbol like how they did with like I think it's base set 2 of Pokemon. Granted, I couldn't buy base set 1 or 2 with the money I fucking make. But my point is to say I could afford the base set 2, but not the one. I don't want a fat fucking symbol on there that tells me base set 2.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll
I
do.
know what you're talking about.
I just, I want people to be like, oh, I can tell by this serial number, or I can, Magic does it by the little symbol right. That's not a Magic deck, by the little symbol right here. Do something like that. I don't want a big fat fucking symbol on there.
Yeah.
If you do different set symbols, shit like that, I'm cool. That's fine. Different artwork, I'm fine. I don't want a big fat fucking symbol like they've done before in games. I know I keep repeating myself. It's just fucking irritating.
You do.
So fuck off.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I don't know what they're doing. I just know that that's what they announced.
I think we should go big for chapter 2.
Yeah, I'll have to go big for chapter 2.
I say
especially because it comes out right before Black Friday.
Yeah.
so.
Like November 17th.
Go big.
Like, yeah, November.
Do some extra
And from the sounds of it, it sounds like you guys have a decent size play group here.
We're trying to. Well, no,
Like,
we gotta get people to show up and participate. We got a lot of people interested.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting
so
at.
like
is,
Thanksgiving is the
Okay.
23rd. Thanksgiving is the 23rd. The 17th, the Friday before is when chapter 2
Yeah.
comes out. And then Black Friday is the next Friday. So it'll be huge. It'll be huge. Chapter 2.
I would say
hold a couple more events and try to get the turnout better. And then on chapter 2 release date, hold a tournament or an event and make sure you have an extra box or whatever and give first place 3 packs of chapter 2. You know what I mean? Because then you can get people, because then people are also going to be like, okay, chapter 2 drops today. Either way, they're going to be buying it. And then you could get people to enter a tournament for a couple bucks an entry and try to compete to get even more of the chapter 2 that they just invested in.
Yeah. They, and we're doing every other week, and we started that Lorcana. Brad started that Lorcana, Logan's Fort Lorcana.
I believe I joined it. I have to double up.
There's an Indiana one too. I joined the Indiana one.
And that's something
one as well.
Did you? Okay.
So, and coming from other local things like Magic and some of the video game stuff like Smash Brothers and stuff like that. Not that I was big into that scene, but like if you're hosting an event here, in every Lorcana page that doesn't have a specific rule against it, post, hey, at Savini Comics in Logansport, Indiana, there's a Lorcana tournament. Anybody who's willing to show up, come out. That's a great way to also just drive traffic over here and get, because especially with the game being so new, I imagine anyone who's like, man, I really like this is going to try to find any way they can to play it.
Yeah, no, there were a couple of guys in here the other night from Kokomo, and they were there. They said that they were. There's a couple of shops in Kokomo. They're trying to run $1,000 tournaments.
$1,000 tournaments?
Yeah, with the buy-ins, $1,000 tournaments.
See,
yeah.
I play some little game at
Yeah, I'll pay $20 to get in and see how I turn.
If it's something like that, $20 to get in, yeah. But I hear 1,000. I'm thinking Magic community, and like a Friday Night Magic has, like with the shops we were going to, fucking 20 people that show up. So for 1,000, we'd all have to pay $50. Just so that way the shop could give out $1,000.
Right.
See that,
and they're not making any profit off of that. So for them to make profit, we all have to pay at least 55, 60.
Yeah, but I think these Lorcana people are thinking that like 100 people are going to show up. Like, And that's like $10 a person.
Yeah, you're right there, but I don't know the group.
Like-
I think of how
Like
new
tag,
it is.
like there's and I'll give a shout out to Tag Team Collectibles in Kokomo. They're friends of ours, and they're running Thursday night leagues. Um, and I think I don't know how their turnout is. I hope it's good for them, but they're running Thursday night leagues. So I can't run Thursday. I think Saturday makes more sense. Especially they've got a way bigger base of people than I do.
I was gonna say they've been around for
'Cause they're-
longer than you have.
No, they
No?
have no. They open. They're just recently opened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great group of people. I think they listen to the podcast. Honestly,
Oh, really?
yeah, a great group of people.
I just
They were just at
assumed. I apologize.
they were at PopCon, and but I mean, but they definitely know what they're doing. But they are 95%, I think, card shop, and they're going hard on this Lorcana thing, and I hope that they're bringing in people.
Yeah.
But
if I didn't,
Saturdays are better for me
I was just say if I didn't, I work
in a
second shift,
a
so-
smaller town for sure than trying to do something on a Thursday night at 6 o'clock. Like that's just not going to work in Logansport, Indiana. It's just not. So
Yeah. Not at the moment.
not at the moment. Maybe someday, but not at the moment. Not for a card game like that. Saturdays, like I think we've got a pretty good gig going. Saturdays, yeah, every other Saturday we'll do league day. It's like basically all day long. I'm always here. If I'm not here, Tracy's here.
Yeah.
And if people want to get points, and I know head to head's not always the funnest, but if you wanted to get points, and then somebody's always here that could throw down a game, so it's not that big of a deal. But
Yeah.
How are you guys doing your league thing?
so basically, you just get points. So basically, it's all day long. Tracy kind of, I mean, it's got a time limit on it. It's got a time like noon to 5 or noon to 6 or something like that. But I don't think we discriminate if you showed up after 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then so you get points for different things. So if you wear a Disney shirt, you get a point. If you bring somebody that's never played before and they play, you get 2 points. And then and you max out at 10 points. Cause obviously you could do all this swag stuff and then start winning games and rack up points like nobody's business.
So you guys have a cap of how much?
So
you can
yeah,
win in
so
a day.
10, you can only do 10 a day.
Because that
10
also
and-
keeps
yeah.
people. Say, example, Brad wants to come in here all geared out and Disney
Yeah.
stuff, win 3 games or however many it is, and he gets to show up every weekend, but I only get to once a weekend or whatever. It keeps him from racking so far above me.
Correct.
Obviously, I'd still have to show up more often, but
Correct. So it's geared towards you showing up more often, but that way, and
But it
the
still
guys that
keeps,
show up every week, it keeps them from getting a big giant lead.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
So-
definitely want these prices to fall before I fucking do shit. They are retarded.
the Lorcana prices are insane.
No.
You don't want to buy a second market right now.
Well,
Not even close.
I wouldn't even know where to start with a deck, but
Starter decks are $20 and MSRP.
MSRP is different than what I can get right now. Well, obviously I haven't walked
They're
in.
what, $35?
Amber and Amethyst is 42 before shipping and handling. Sapphire and Steel is 39 before shipping and handling. Emerald and Ruby is 34.
Yeah, the MSRP is $19.99.
Emerald is 34.
Yeah.
The MSRP for a box is like a whole entire booster box is like 170.
First chapter booster box, $404 is
Yeah.
what I can buy one for right now.
Yeah, the MSRP is like $170.
Do you have one from
For the starter deck display, I could get the whole starter deck display for $400.
Yeah, that's 12 starter packs.
Starter packs or decks?
Yes.
12 starter decks. Yup.
I mean, I accidentally had my sort by fucked up at first. I had it on high to low, and it gave me the D23 promo that I could buy for $15,000. And I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Because at first I was used to how it normally lays it out, and I was like, a booster box? Because normally for me, it gives me booster boxes first. And I was like, you motherfuckers.
The cards are like $15,000.
Dude, each one's like, Mickey was $1,500 for a Mickey
Yeah.
from the D23.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I sold a Lilo, a regular Lilo, in the shop yesterday for $20.
I go with all
Making
day
a wish.
$20 on the
Because it's a one.
1834.
It's a 1-in-1, and it only takes 1 ink to get it out, and you get 2 quest points for it. You get 2 lore for it when you quest
super
it.
strong. Yeah,
So it's a super strong lore card because you only have to play 1 ink. You get to throw it out on your board, and then you quest her, and you immediately get.
So through Lorcana, I'll be able to explain to you a little easier unless you actually get into Magic, the Magic secondary, because this is the same thing that happens in Magic. Wilds of Eldraine drops, and there's a blue card that's a Pioneer staple that went down from an uncommon to a common, and I guarantee you, it's probably not like fit $20 a piece, but for a common, I bet you it's $1 a piece. For something that you get 12 of in a pack and you easily get multiples of very quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, that helps me explain things like that easier.
Well, that's good. That's good. So, all right. Have we killed the trading card game?
I think that wraps her up.
I think that was pretty good. I think that was a pretty good discussion. Yeah, I'm ready to. If I wasn't so exhausted, I'd be ready to play. So trade day, Pokemon trade day tomorrow. Not that you'll hear this podcast before then, but but we are having one. We are having one. Check Savini Comics Facebook page for any sort of Pokemon trade days or Magic the Gathering events and Disney Lorcana events. So, all right, we're going to wrap this one up. This is the episode of Trading Card Games. Might as well not call it Magic because it's been just everything. Well, mostly Magic and Lorcana. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk Hearthstone.
Mostly us. So, all right. So this has been Pints and Pages. I'm Nick.
I'm Brad.
I'm Levi.
And we'll see you next time.